Okay, I want to talk to you guys about a really cool concept. And the first time I ever talked about this was in the book, .com Secrets. And it's really, for me, one of the biggest differences between a business that's doing 5 figures a month to one that's doing 6 or 7 figures a month and beyond is understanding this, the 7 phases of a lead. And when you start understanding this process, it becomes really, really fun. For me, it's like, this is how I view everything. If someone clicks on an ad, this is the process that they're going through. And then when you understand all those pieces, then you can make the tweaks and the changes and things you need based on that. So phase number 1 is, and we talked about this earlier quite a bit, is traffic temperature, right? So you've got your hot, your warm, and your cold audiences. So understanding that, again, we've gone into a lot of detail about that, but understanding that the first phase is, who are these people? Like, where are they at? Hot, warm, cold. Who's the first person that's coming into my world, right? So the ad goes out there, they click on something, and then it shifts over to number 2, which is usually, I'll put a picture there, but it's some kind of like bridge, some kind of frame. And again, sometimes it can be as short as like an email for your hot traffic. Over here, it might be a landing page, it might be something I'm taking somewhere to try to start this process. And I call this like a pre-frame. There's so many cool stories I can tell you guys about pre-frame. In fact, Cialdini just came out with a new book called Persuasion, which is like all the stuff that happens before like something new happens. The first time I ever learned this was from Mark Joyner, my first mentor, and he used to say that not all clicks are created equal. And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, well, a lot of people think that I got 1,000 clicks on my website, therefore it should make this much, but it's not. It depends on the frame that they come through when they get to your site. For example, if someone came to if you were over here and you're cold traffic and you landed on a page and it was like, Russell Brunson's a scam artist, all he cares about is money, I bought something and he kept my money and didn't ever do anything, you should click here to see his new product. If that was the frame you came through into my funnel and that's the first thing you saw, you're not going to buy no matter what, right? That frame had a huge influence on your purchasing decision. It was a bad frame. Whereas if you're a cold audience and you click on an ad and it's like, hey, Russell Brunson completely changed my life. I bought his book. I went through it. It was amazing. And then from that, I actually launched a webinar. I did $1 million in the first 5 months. You should get his book. Click here to get his new book. If you see that frame, you're likely to buying like 150%, right? It changes everything. So after you've got the traffic temperature, then it comes over here to like, what's the pre-frame you're taking somebody through? Okay. Then for me, kind of the next step after that, I'm going to start putting these all together into one, is I want to figure out, of all of these people that are coming, all the clicks, all the traffic, I'm trying to figure out like who's serious, like who's our best people, who is willing to give me their email address in exchange for more information, okay? And so some people call these lead magnets, some people call them squeeze pages. It doesn't really matter, but usually I'm trying to create something where I get somebody to give me their email address in exchange for something, right? And this is where I'm going to figure out, I'm going to try to get there, I'm going to qualify my subscribers. I'm going to write qualify subscribers. So they've qualified. So give me the email address right here. And now I know, okay, of all of these, let's say 100,000 people come to my website, 30,000 are willing to give me the email address. These are our best people. We've qualified all of our subscribers. Now, next thing I want to figure out, as soon as I've qualified my subscribers, then my next thing I want to figure out, okay, of all these people who are subscribers, which one of these people are actually buyers? Okay, Dan Kennedy once taught me, he said that a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. Someone who starts buying something will continue to buy something until you offend them or until you stop selling them things, okay? And so if that's true, if we believe that a buyer is someone who's going to continue to buy, I want to find out as quick as possible, like, who are my buyers, right? I don't want to spend, sending 5 emails over the next 7 days and then figure out, like, who are my buyers. I want to find out today, like, are you a buyer? If you're a buyer, come on in. If you're not, let me know, right? So right here, for me, typically I have something here, like some kind of low ticket thing I'm going to try to sell to figure out who are my buyers. I'm qualifying my buyers. Okay? That's why you've probably seen in my business I have a lot of free plus shipping offers. Okay? The reason why, 2 reasons. One, I love to give people free plus shipping stuff. I want them to get something in the mail from me. Like, there's so many cool things about that. But the real reason I'm trying to figure out who are my buyers. As soon as you've done that, now I'm probably going to market to my buyers differently than I market just people who are not willing to pay free plus shipping for my book, right? This gives me a really good idea. Okay, so I qualify my subscribers, qualify my buyers. Then after I qualify my buyers, I want to find out who are my hyperactive buyers. How many of you guys listening are hyperactive buyers? Like, you buy something and then you want to buy some more and you get excited, right? I know that I am probably the world's best buyer. I'll get excited about a topic, I'll buy 30 things in an hour on that thing, and then I get bored. But during that period, I'm a buyer in heat. I'm buying every single thing. So I want to find out who are my hyperactive buyers right now. So I do that typically by adding in some kind of upsells, right? So I'll put a bigger dollar sign, upsells. So I'm identifying my hyperactive buyers. Okay, these are the people that are excited. Okay, now up to this point, most of these things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these first 5 things have all happened really relatively quickly, right? Somebody clicked on an ad, they read an article, from the article they landed over here, they gave me the email address, then they bought my book, then some upsells, and then it ends right here. So everything here is like, this is all, if you're in retail, they call this point of sale, right? Point of sale. This is everything's happening up front. Now that we've got someone who's a buyer, we've got a couple categories. These are our subscribers, our buyers, and our hyperactive buyers. I can market to them differently. I can do different things, all sorts of stuff like that. The next thing that I'm going to try to do here is, after I've got a buyer, the next most important thing is building and cultivating that relationship with the buyer, right? It's not that hard to get somebody to buy once, but to get someone to buy over and over and over again is a more important process. It's how we, in this process, I'm gonna call it aging and ascending the lead. I'm gonna age and ascend. So during this process right here, I'm taking them on a path where I'm sending them emails, I'm nurturing them, I'm maybe making them other offers. I'm just trying to build a good relationship. Back in the day, we had a call center. We found that if somebody was to buy a product right here, if I sold them something like a $5,000 thing really quick, most of them would say no. But if I aged this relationship and I ascended it, what would happen is we used to test this thing, but about day 27, day 28, if we made an offer for $5,000 at that point, like they'd been in our funnel long enough and in our sequence long enough that was like the sweet spot, okay? And so I'm trying to age and ascend this relationship, and that's kind of the big thing. And then the last step here in the process is, after I've gone through here, then I try to change the selling environment, okay? A lot of times, people are behind their computers, they're typing away, and like this is their environment, they're very safe and very protected. And I want to try to like change the environment, right? I like trying to get people to leave and get them on a webinar, or get them to a live event, or get them to a telesummit, something where I'm trying to change the environment, get them on the phone, things like that. So if I can change the environment, selling becomes easier. So I'll draw a picture of a dude on a phone. That guy's got a big head. Anyway. So here's a cell phone, right? If I get them on the phone, or get them to sell, or something where I'm pulling them out of their environment they're used to and change that environment, it makes selling the higher ticket things and sending people even better. So this is kind of the 7 phases of a lead. And again, in the .com Secrets book, there's a whole chapter going deep if you want to dig deeper into this, but it's understanding these things, okay? Because traffic's not just buying an ad to your landing page and leaving it at that. Okay, that's how most people view this thing. It's this whole process of understanding traffic temperature. Then what's the pre-frame bridge we send them through? What's the landing page? How do we get their email? Then how do we get qualify them as buyers? How do we upsell them? Then what do we do afterwards? Because some of you guys, you may buy ads over here. Maybe your warm audience, you make money really, really quick, but your warm or your cold audience, you may take you 14 days to break even, or 30 days to break even down here. So if you don't have all these other things in place, you're gonna buy a bunch of ads and be like, this stuff is a scam, Russell, it doesn't work. I'm like, well, it worked. You got emails and you got opt-ins. You didn't make money here, and you didn't make money here, but by day 45, you actually started making money, okay? So everything works as long as your funnel works, as long as this process works. Now, those who you are thinking, I don't want to wait 45 days or 60 days to make money, Russell, like, don't worry. That's what we said. Go after the big piles of cash first with your warm audience, or hot audience, then move to the warm, and then the cold. By the time you're here, you have so much cash flow coming in, you'll be okay with a 30-day, 60-day float. But you have to understand that's kind of the process. I was talking to Brendan Bouchard the other day, and Brendan's got a book it was a New York Times best-selling book for like 36 weeks in a row, and he's running radio ads. And I was like, dude, how are the radio ads running? And he's like, depends who you ask. He's like, if you ask my radio guy, thinks it's a failure. He's like, if you ask me, it's crushing it. I'm like, really, why? He said, well, he's like, people buy my book. Up here, my list buys that we make money up front, people buy books. It's like when I'm targeting Facebook and stuff, takes us, on average 10 to 14 days to break even. So over here, it takes us 4 months. 4 months for me to break even. But he's like, I'm the only person who's willing to go negative in the hole for 4 months, so my stuff works on radio. And because of that, he's able to sell tons and tons of books to radio. But he knows it doesn't happen point of sale. It doesn't happen week 1, week 2, even month 1, month 2. But by month 4, he's broken even. And then everything after that's pure profit. He's getting all these customers from here that nobody else can get because nobody else is willing to do that. And so just think about that. Like, this is where you should start. But as your business starts maturing, you start trying to grow and bring in new leads. This is the natural progression. And if and when you get to this, that's where you can start scaling. But your funnel's got to be in place. It's got to be deep to make it work. And when you understand that, it makes this game so much fun. So those, you guys, are the 7 phases of a lead.